and welcome to Noble Character Crafts. My name is Amy and I'm coming to you from eastern Nebraska, where I live with my husband and our 5 children. Today is Friday, August 16th, 2024. A huge welcome to any new or returning viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you really enjoyed this episode. This is a channel all about my crafty life, and today I have knitting and crocheting to share with you all. I will have links to the places that you can find me in the description box below, as well as the show notes for this episode. I am hosting a year-long make-along on Instagram called the Make 9 2024 Mal, and that's for you to join in the Make 9 Challenge, where you can choose 9 projects that you would like to work on this year, post a grid of those projects to Instagram, and then anytime that you post a picture of one of your works in progress or one of your finished objects, you can include the hashtag Make 9 2024 Mal, and that will enter you in the drawing to win a prize, which I draw periodically throughout the year. I have a few more prizes to give away today. All of these prizes have been generously donated to me by viewers of this channel, so thank you to everyone in the past who has always been so generous to donate to me. And I will, at the end of this episode, share with you the boxes that I mentioned in my last video. So many of you were interested in seeing what was in those boxes that were donated to me, so I'll be going over those goodies at the very end of this video. But for now, I have a few prizes to give away. The first 2 I have to share with you, I've already attempted to give them away, but was, for this first prize I'm going to be giving away, I never was contacted by the winner, so that's why I'm re-gifting this prize. So this is 2 skeins of yarn by Juniper Moon Farm in the Findley Dappled line, which is 50% merino wool and 50% silk. It is lace weight, and the color is called Bayou. I think that's how that's pronounced. It's B-A-Y-E-U-X. Anyway, so it's 100 grams for each of them and 798 yards per skein. Now, one of the skeins has the label. The other one does not have its label, but they're the same. So they're going together along with a package of these adorable progress keepers or stitch markers that have this floral theme on little wooden discs. So the winner of this prize is Debbie at Tea Hill Cottage. Congratulations to you, Debbie. For you and all of the winners, please just contact me through Instagram direct message. Let me know your first and last name and your mailing address, and I'll be sure to get these off in the mail as quickly as I can. The second prize you have also seen in a previous video. The winner of this prize lives in South Africa, and so this is the second time that our winner of one of the Make 9 2024 Mal prizes has contacted me and said it's just impossible for you to mail yarn to me. The other lady lived in China, this lady lived in South Africa, and so I'm very grateful that they were, they saved me the trouble of trying to mail something and it probably costing a fortune. So both of those winners accepted a Ravelry pattern prize instead of a physical prize. So I was glad and very happy to do that instead. Anyway, these are beautiful skeins of Malabrigo yarn. So they are Malabrigo worsted weight in the Rosalinda colorway. They are 100 grams each, 210 yards each, and they are pure merino wool. And the winner of these 3 hanks of yarn is Wolverine, I think it's pronounced, on Instagram. So congratulations to you. The next prize is this triple pack of yarn from Wonderland Yarns. It is a switch way wrap yarn bundle with unicorn. So it comes with 2 skeins. I believe these 2 purple skeins, well, they're all purple, I guess, but the dark and the medium color purple skeins, I think are both Mad Hatter sport weight yarn. They are, yes, that's right. These are both on the same base. They are 4 ounces each, which I believe equates to 100 grams. 344 yards, 100% superwash merino wool. And then this lighter one is on the Unicorn Sparkle Magic base, which, oh, that one's 3.5 ounces, so that's 100 grams. Oh, I see, it says right on here. Okay, just read the label more carefully and you'll understand what this is. Okay, so these two are actually a little more than 100 grams. They're 113 grams. And then this is a 100 gram skein, and it is 63% silk, 23% kid mohair, 11% nylon, and 3% lurex, 310 yards. I don't know why I had so much trouble reading that, but anyway. So it's just called the Switchway Wrap Kit number 5. The winner of this beautiful prize is Rachel at Mama Wants to Knit on Instagram. Congratulations to you. And the final prize is some more Wonderland yarn. 3 skeins in these beautiful colors that work so beautifully together. They're all on the same base, which is a sock weight or fingering weight, 410 yards, 80% superwash fine merino wool, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. This one is called Queen of Hearts. This one is Mulberry Bush. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Again, problems reading the labels. The base is called Queen of Hearts. This colorway is called First Edition number 313. Whatever that, I'm not sure if that's maybe, I don't know. Anyway, then this one is called Mulberry Bush. I was right on that. And the final skein is, the colorway is called A Year in Color Birthstones Citrine number 179. So those 3 beautiful skeins would work really nicely together, or obviously in individual projects as well. And the winner of these yarns is Sylvia at Sylvia Thickiart. I'm not really sure how to pronounce your last name. Sorry about that. But congratulations to you, Sylvia. Again, just let me know your first and last name and mailing addresses via Instagram direct message. That's the easiest way to get in contact with me. And I'll be happy to get those all off in the mail to all of you winners. Thank you so much for participating in the Make 9 2024 mail. I truly appreciate it, and don't hesitate to join in if you haven't already. You can join in at any time. You do not have to finish all of your projects. You just participate in the make along, and you don't have to finish anything. You can just show us your works in progress and join in the fun in that way as well. Also, any crafts are allowed for this make along. So if you are into lots of different crafts, that would also work. You can make a board with lots and lots of different crafts shown on it. So please don't hesitate to join in if you haven't already. Okay, I have a few finished objects to share with you all. The first and most exciting one, for me anyway, is my triangle garter wrap that I have been working on since December of last year, and I finally finished it, and I'm so pleased that I was able to finish it. So this was a slow going project, mostly because of the modifications that I made to it. This is a free pattern by Purl, Soho. It's originally designed to be made using fingering weight yarn, and as the pattern name suggests, it's originally designed to be a triangle shape. But I wanted to make this shawl using some extra lace weight mohair silk blend lace weight yarn that I had in my stash, and then I also wanted to make it into a square instead of just a triangle. So once I got to the halfway point, I started decreasing my stitches, similar to how I have made dishcloths in the past. So that same kind of construction where you're working from corner to corner and increasing until you get to the halfway point and then decreasing until you get back down to your original stitch count. And that's basically how I did this pattern. I did follow the instructions for the Purl Soho pattern, but then on the second half, I just started decreasing my stitches, like I said. I used a US 5 3.75 set of needles, so 3.75 millimeter needles. And I used 4 different colorways and just kind of color blocked them. So I started on this end. This is Picks Aloft yarn in the white colorway. Also Picks Aloft in Plover. The bare yarn here was just some bare lace weight mohair yarn that I had in my stash from when I used to dye yarn. And then the final color is also Picks Aloft in the oat colorway. I am, just really pleased how this turned out. So my plan is to wear it so that it's folded in half, as you can see here. And I like it this way, so you can see all 4 of the colors. And I plan on wearing it either over the shoulders like this. And it's so warm and cozy. I just love how it looks. And I think it's kind of cool how this side is more warmer tones and this side is cooler tones. I think that's kind of a fun look to it. And then you can also wear it wrapped like a, well, you can throw it over yourself however you want, but kind of works well like this as well. Can just kind of play with it. So I think this will be super fun to have in the winter time, especially. I could wear it with my coat, you know, just as a scarf, and then it'll be nice just to have it to really wrap up in if I'm super cold. So, and it was great to be able to use up lots of lace weight stash as well. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm going to go ahead and stand up so I can show you it in its entirety, because it's, you know, a lot bigger than I can show you on this little part of the screen. I forgot to mention that I am wearing one of my Hinterland dresses that I sewed, I don't remember if it was last year or earlier this year, but a while ago. So this is a sewing pattern by Sew Liberated, and it's the 3rd time I have sewn this dress. And I plan on making more, and I have material that I've shown you to make more. And I already have a dress, one more cut out using the new fabric that I ordered. And it's been cut out for months, and I just haven't had it in me to sew up another dress yet. I don't know. My sewing motivation comes in small spurts. I don't often have the desire to sew because I much more enjoy knitting and crocheting. So, but anyway, I'm wearing one of the dresses that I made a while ago. Anyway, here is the wrap in its entirety. So it would work well for a blanket too, kind of a lap size blanket. But as you can see, it's like see-through. It's so thin. And I really like that about it. I think it's super cool. I just love how it turned out. I love the feel of it. It's so great. So of course I can also fold it in half this way and have the colors shown either on that side or on that side, and that'll just give kind of a different look. But I think I kind of like it better folded the other way, because then you get to see all 4 colors at once. But maybe if the outfit that I'm wearing goes with 2 of the 4 colors better than all of them, maybe I'll do that. I wear more warmer tones than cooler tones in general because of my coloring, so maybe it would work well to wear it with these warmer tones showing more than the cooler tones. I don't know. We will see how I'll see how I end up wearing it when the weather cools off. Right now it's way too warm still to wear it. We have had some cooler temperatures in the last couple of weeks, but it's warm today again. So anyway, I'm just happy that I was able to finish it. So this is another one of my projects from my Make 9 board. So I'm very excited that I was able to finally finish it. The start and end dates for this were, I started it on December 23rd of 2023, and I finished it on August 12th of this year. So yeah, I'm really happy that I was able to get it done. I ended up increasing to a total of 316 stitches before I started decreasing, just as a note. And then on the second half, I just knit to the last 3 stitches and then knit 2 together and knit the last stitch. So I think that's all I have to share with this one. And hopefully I'll get a lot of use out of it. I was also able to finish the dishcloth that I was working on in my last episode. So this is a free pattern as well. This is, I used the Rainbow Ripple Baby Blanket pattern by Celeste Young. And this is now the 16th dishcloth that I have made for myself using that pattern. I use, in general, I use fingering weight yarn and a 3.5 millimeter hook. And I do 12 rounds of the pattern to make this size, which works great for a dishcloth. And I've really enjoyed having these dishcloths in my stash to be able to use them. It just makes, I don't know, I just really enjoy having them in my kitchen to wash dishes with. So I made another one, and I think I've got enough for now. I probably will make more of these dishcloths in the future, but for now I think I have enough. But this one I used some different yarn. I did not use fingering weight yarn. I used some crochet thread held double. So I had gotten a bunch of crochet thread from Goodwill recently that I wanted to use for a different project, but I had some different weights of the crochet thread, and I had 2 kinds of size 20 thread, and they were both mercerized cotton. One was in a cream color and one was in a tan color, so you can probably see that I've just held those together to make a fingering weight yarn. And these are both mercerized cotton, so I'm not sure how that will work up. I did make 2 that I showed on my last episode that were held. I'm not sure if both of the yarns were mercerized cotton, but I know for sure one of them was, and I have used both of those and they work just great. So I'm hopeful that this will work well as well. I know for sure that this is all mercerized cotton, so I'm not sure if it will make a difference or not, but I don't think it will. It feels real rough at this point, but I also think that once I use and wash it and dry it, that it'll soften up. Either is fine, because it's kind of nice to have a scrubby dishcloth, but if it softens up, that's fine as well. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, I'm so happy to have another one of these done. And yeah, like I said, I'll probably make more of these in the future, but for now, I think I'm good. I've got plenty. My drawer is always got at least, well, it's always got plenty of these in it now. With 16 in rotation, that's more than enough that I need for using to wash our dishes. So I'm happy to have that one done too. Another project that I worked on, this is kind of a fix, I guess. They are finished now, but I made some socks for my husband back in November of last year using some Paton's Kroy socks in the 50s stripes colorway. And they ended up being too short for him. He wore them several times. He wears his socks kind of like as house slippers type of a thing. So he doesn't wear them out of the house. He just wears them around the house. And he was wearing these socks that I made for him several times, but every time he wore them, they were slipping down under his heel because I just made them too short, I guess. So anyway, I ended up ripping out the toes and I added some extra length to the toes before I did the toe decreases. So I originally had only done 64 rounds on the foot before I did the toe decreases, and this time I did a total of 78 rounds for the foot before I did the toe decreases. So I ended up adding 14 extra rounds. And the yarn that I used for these toes is also Paton's Kroy in the Cascade Colors colorway. Also for the heels on these, that's also Paton's Kroy in the Sing in the Blues stripes colorway. I used US 1.5, 2.5 millimeter needles for these because Paton's Kroy yarn is labeled as fingering weight, but it's really more of a sport weight in my opinion. So it works better with a bigger set of needles as well. These are also, I had cast on 56 stitches, and I did 2x2 ribbing for the majority of the sock, but once I added in this extra length on the toes, I just did plain stockinette. For those extra rounds, I didn't continue the 2x2 knitting on the top of the sock. But anyway, hopefully these will work a lot better for him now, and I was happy to get those fixed. I kept putting it off for a long time. I don't know why, but just because ripping out the toes was kind of a pain, I guess. But I'm glad to have those fixed, and hopefully he'll get some more. Well, like I said, he was already using them anyway, but they should fit a lot better now. So, okay, those are all of my finished objects. So I'll go on to my works in progress. My first work in progress I want to share with you is an update on my Scrappy flower motif hexagon blanket. So I made this one first. I am making these cute flower motifs that I am planning on eventually putting into, or sewing together or crocheting together to make a blanket. So my plan is to outline each of these motifs with bare yarn, another row of hexagons all the way around each hexagon, and then they'll be pieced together in this sort of manner. I am using all fingering weight yarn for this project. I am using a C 2.75 millimeter hook, and I am following a tutorial that I have made here on YouTube for my Hexi Scrappy blanket. In the tutorial, I changed colors 3 times within the Hexi, but for these, I am making each of my hexagons in a solid color and piecing them together like this. And I just love how they turn out. The process of making them is so much fun. And these are numbers 15 and 16 that I have completed. I need to make a total of 28 full motifs and then 4 half blocks before I am going to start piecing them all together. So I'm over the halfway mark, and I'm still really enjoying making all of these fun motifs. Another scrappy work in progress that I have made some progress on is my granny stripe blanket. I don't show this off very often at all because it's very rare that I get to add anything to it, but I shared on my last episode that a viewer of this channel named Angelina sent me her tiny, tiny, tiny little scraps of yarn, which actually I used this yarn that she sent me for the center hexagons on each of these motifs. So both of those middle motifs were from the yarn that Angelina sent to me, and I have enough to make one more for a third motif as the center. But anyway, with all the other yarn that she sent me tiny little scraps of yarn that were under 3 grams of yarn. She had made a scrappy project and then didn't have a use for the little itty bitty bits that were left over, and she asked if I would be interested in using them up, and I was very interested in using them. I think that's so much fun. So I have this project that I use to add my tiny, tiny scraps to. So this is a granny stripe blanket. I used a tutorial by Bella Coco here on YouTube to know how to make this pattern. I started with a chain of 300, if I remember right. Yes, 300. I'm again using a C 2.75 millimeter hook for this project. I use the Russian join method whenever I change yarn colors, so I don't have any ends to weave in. And I started this blanket back in January of 2020. So yeah, over 4 years old in the making, and it's not very big because, like I said, I only add the tiniest little scraps to it. So anything under 3 grams goes from my stash goes into this blanket. Anyway, so there is a progress keeper right here, and that's marking where I was before I added in Angelina's yarn, and I was able to add lots of rows to it using her yarn. And I just love the process of being able to work on this. It's really quite a time-consuming process to add in these tiny little scraps because you do have to you know, the Russian join method. I love that method, but you know, it's not extremely fast. It takes a little bit of time to connect all of those yarns together, but it's just such an enjoyable process. It makes me so happy to be able to use up the tiniest little bits of yarn, and the color combination of how these yarns work up together is so beautiful. I think it makes me just incredibly happy to work on this Scrappy project. So I have mentioned before that this project is going to be in the works for many, many years to come, but that's okay. I enjoy it so much, and it's just, like I said, so gratifying to be able to use up little tiny bits that would normally just be put in the trash, because I don't think a lot of people save their tiny, tiny bits, you know. It's just something that I really enjoy, but I don't think that everybody enjoys using tiny bits like that, but it really brings me a lot of joy. So I was so happy to add in her scraps to my blanket. So thanks again, Angelina, for sharing your little bits with me. I loved working with them. All the different colors were so beautiful. It was such a joy to work on them. Okay, I have some updates on a few projects that you've seen before. The first one is being held in this beautiful project bag by Trisha of Joy in the Stitches. And it is a shawl that I am knitting for a friend of mine named Eva. It is the Odyssey Shawl, which is another free pattern by Locatelli. And my friend Eva purchased this yarn from Hobby Lobby and then asked me to knit her a shawl using it. It is Yarn Bee Authentic Hand Dyed in the Hibiscus Palm colorway. It's fingering weight, 100% superwash merino wool. And I've added a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit. Last time I recorded, I think I was just about ready to add in the second lace panel, and I have worked through that and now am back into the garter stitch section, but I haven't made a ton of progress. But you can see that I have added another lace section here. I am using the recommended needles, which are US 8 5mm needles, and see if I can give you a better idea of what this is looking like. So it starts off with a big section of garter stitch. Here's the first lace section, and then it just repeats between garter stitch and that lace section. So there's one more section. I'm working on the third garter stitch section, and then there's another lace section at the end before the picot. Is there like a picot? Yeah, it looks like it. Kind of a picot bind off at the end. As you can see in this picture, the original pattern calls for you to use 3 different colors for those 3 sections, but I'm just using this one colorway for the entirety of the shawl. It is, I'm holding this yarn double. So this, I'm using fingering weight yarn, but I'm holding it double so that I get more of a DK weight. And that seems to be working really well. I am enjoying how these colors are working up together. I think it's super fun. So that's at an easy stage right now. Like I said, it's just garter stitch, so I can work on that without too much brain power. It doesn't take too much effort to work on that at this stage. The lace section is a little trickier, but this second time I did the lace section, I used stitch markers in between each lace repeat, and that was super duper helpful. So I've done that before, and I don't know why I didn't do that the first time I did the lace section, but once I finished it, I was like, oh, that was kind of labor intensive because I had to do a lot of counting to keep track of where I was. And then I realized, why didn't you just put stitch markers in between? Anyway, so I did that for the second time. That works a lot more easily. The second project I have to share with you is being held in another project bag that was made by Trisha of Joy in the Stitches. She gifted me this bag and I adore it. I think it's so much fun. It also has a matching little notions pouch, which is so nice. And I have made some progress on my Romance cardigan, which is a pattern by Tricot Design MCL. I started this one on July 18th, and last time I recorded, I had finished the back panel, and so it's worked from the top down. I had finished the back panel, and I had started working on the right front panel. So there is a stitch marker or progress keeper marking where I was on the right front panel. And then I needed to also knit the left front panel. And then I was able to join them all together, and I have already split for the sleeves. And now I am just knitting, oh, I'm at mid-row. I didn't even realize that. That's funny. Anyway, I am just knitting plain stockinette now for several inches for the body of the cardigan. And I should have put this on larger cord so I could try it on to show you how it's fitting, but it is fitting really well. I'm making the medium size, which I don't think I've mentioned in previous episodes when I've talked about this. And my gauge matched when I did a gauge swatch, but I did check my gauge again, and it looks like my gauge is a tiny bit tighter, but that's okay, I think, because I was kind of in between sizes and I went up to the medium size. And I was afraid that maybe it would be a little bit too big because I don't really like oversized things. I don't like my garments to be too oversized. So I think I'll be really happy with how it fits in the end. I'm happy with how it's fitting right now. So the yarn that I'm using is Wool of the Andes Sport Weight in the Pampas Heather colorway. And this is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. And I love the color variation in the heathered colorways from Knit Picks. They're definitely one of my favorites. And the needles that I'm using for this project are US 6 4mm needles. So anyway, I'm really happy with how this one is coming along, and it's at a super easy stage as well for me to just pick up and work on whenever. It doesn't take any thought at this point. It's just plain stockinette, knitting and purling because it's knit flat. The next update I have for you is the pair of socks that I shared with you last time that I started. These are being held in this cute bag by Midwest Stitches. Danielle gifted this to me, and I love this bag for socks especially. I always knit my socks 2 at a time, magic loop method, and it just works so well to have 2 little cakes of yarn sit perfectly in this bag. I love it for that purpose. I am knitting a pair of plain stockinette socks using some yarn by the One String on the Charm base, which is 90% superwash Targhee wool, 10% nylon in the Frosted Plums colorway. I received this yarn in a swap many years ago, if my memory serves me correctly. I'm pretty sure that's right. And I love how this is working up into these socks. They're so much fun. Purple is my favorite color, so these just are so pretty. I think there is a progress keeper on here marking where I was last time I recorded. I cast on 60 stitches for these, knit 2x1 ribbing for 20 rounds using US 0.2mm needles. And I did 70 rounds for the legs. I've done a slip stitch heel flap. And I've just finished all of the gusset decreases, so now I am into plain stockinette on these as well. So another easy project. These are my on-the-go knitting project. So whenever I have to go somewhere and knit without even looking at my work, these work great for that. So those are fun. And then I have 2 more works in progress that are new. I have other works in progress that I shared on my last episode. In fact, they're sitting right in front of me, but I'm not going to share them because I've made very, very minimal progress on them. But I have 3 crochet projects, 2 blankets, and 1 crochet bag. But I'm not going to share them today because I've made very little progress on them. I have worked a tiny, tiny bit on each of them, but I'll show them on my next episode probably. I'm assuming that I will get some more work done on those. But anyway, I have 2 new projects that have taken my attention recently. So I really enjoy watching the YouTube channel by Summer Lee Designs. And she had a YouTube channel. She's had a YouTube channel for a while. She did podcasts many years ago, and then she took several years off where she didn't put out YouTube videos. But in the last year, probably, I would guess, she has put out more regular videos, and I just love her and her color sense and her style, and I wish she could come and decorate my house because I love the way she decorates. And anyway, I really admire her style. And she has recently come out with a Colorwork Cuff Club that every month she's going to be sending out a Colorwork cuff design for a sock pattern. So she has a basic sock pattern that she has sent with the pattern, and then every month she will be updating the Ravelry pattern to include a new Colorwork chart for the cuff of a sock. I was really intrigued by this, especially because I have made 3 pairs of Colorwork socks in the past, and none of them fit me. They're all too tight. So the first pair of Colorwork socks I made were Colorwork for the entirety of the sock. And they fit me, well, all 3 pairs fit me when I finished them. But then after I washed and dried them, no, I don't dry my socks. So after I washed them and laid them flat to dry, which is how I wash my socks, I could put them on, but it was just a struggle. And I ended up gifting them to my children. So my daughter has that first pair. And then I made a second pair where there was just Colorwork at the cuff. And same thing, I was able to get them on when I first made them, but I think those were pretty tight. And after I washed them a few times, I could still put them on, but it was like, I thought I was going to tear the yarn because I really had to pull them up. I have a very high instep, so that might make a big difference. Anyway, I ended up ripping out that Colorwork and just adding in some stripes instead. So I'm still able to use those socks, but I took out the Colorwork. And then the third pair that I made were another design by Summer Lee. They were I did like a buffalo plaid design, so red and black check. And those were the last pair of Colorwork socks, maybe even the last time I attempted Colorwork, period. I haven't done a lot of Colorwork lately. And again, those fit me for a little while, but then they just got too tight and I just wasn't grabbing them because they just weren't easy to wear. And I ended up gifting those to my sons. They kind of shared them. Well, one son had them first, now another son has them. Anyway. So I really wanted, I had kind of given up on Colorwork socks, but I really love the looks of them. I think it's so much fun. And I really, after I saw Summer Lee's most recent video where she shared about this Colorwork Cuff Club, I was like, I really want to master, I really want to get to the point where I can make Colorwork socks that actually fit me and I can wear and enjoy. So I really wanted to try out Colorwork socks again. And I really specifically love this idea of doing Colorwork just on the cuff, because as you've seen in my socks that I make, I really enjoy a slip stitch heel flap and gusset for my heels. And if you do a full Colorwork, I don't think that there's an easy way to do that heel, the slip stitch heel flap. Usually you have to do a short row heel, which I do not enjoy, or an afterthought heel. And I don't enjoy that either. I don't like the way that that fits my foot. So that might have a difference in my issue with those Colorwork socks as well. So anyway, with the Colorwork just on the cuff, I can still do that slip stitch heel flap. Anyway, so I signed up for her Colorwork Cuff Club. Now in the month of August, it is on sale for $12, and that includes the whole year. You get 12 months of this Colorwork Cuff Club for only $12, which is a super great deal. And then in September, I think it only goes up to $14. So if you're seeing this video and you haven't heard of this already, you probably have, not from, but anyway, if you see this after August, even in September and on, it's still a great deal at $14. And not only do you get a new Colorwork pattern each month, but some months she's going to have more than one. And in August, you do get 2 Colorwork patterns in the Colorwork Cuff Club. So that's super exciting. So I cast on a pair using the floral motif that she designed, and I'm so happy with them. Aren't they so pretty? I'm so excited about them. Okay, I did have to make some modifications to these though so that they would fit me hopefully well. They're fitting well now, and hopefully they'll continue to fit well after I wear and wash them. I started with my regular stitch count. So I cast on 60 stitches, which is a modification from her pattern. So she doesn't have 60 stitches in her pattern, but I know that's what works well for me, so that's what I did. I cast on 60 stitches. She does call for a 2x1 ribbing, which is what I normally do. So I did that for, she recommends an inch, which ended up being 12 rounds on mine, I believe. And I use the US 02mm needles like I normally do for my socks. For the cuffs, the yarn that I'm using is Knit Picks Stroll Tweed in the Dill Heather colorway. That is 65% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon, and 10% Donegal tweed. And then the color that I used for the color work portion is just a little mini that I had in my stash from yarn that I had dyed myself in this pretty coral color. Once I got to the color work section, I increased my stitches to 72 stitches. So that's, you know, quite a big jump from my normal 60 stitch count. But I wanted to make sure that I had enough room in the color work. And then I also increased my needle size to 2.53mm needles. So an entire millimeter bigger than my other needle. I also used a 9-inch circular, which I typically knit looser using a 9-inch circular just for the color work. And I also flipped my work inside out so that my color work strands were being worked on the outside of my work and therefore getting even more stretch. So if you just flip your work this way, you can still knit on the inside, but your floats are going around the outside and therefore they can kind of stretch a little bit more, if that makes sense. Anyway, oh, I should mention I cast these on 2 at a time. And then once I got to the color work, I switched to my 9-inch circular and just did one sock at a time. And then once I got back to, once I was done with the color work, then I put them back on magic loop, knitting 2 at a time, because that's my favorite method of knitting socks. Anyway, I think it worked out really well. I am super happy with that, how that worked out. So the in the pattern, I think the medium size calls for you to cast on like 63 stitches maybe, or something like that. So I cast on less stitches, just a few less stitches than the medium size, but then I increased my stitch count to the large size for the color work. And then I decreased back down to 60 stitches after I was done with the color work. Also, she recommends not such a long leg, and I'm planning on making these long legs, like similar to the purple ones I showed you. So I usually do a total of 90 rounds for the cuff and leg portion of my socks. So I'm probably going to do something equivalent to that for these. For the rest of the sock, I'm probably not even going to really look at Summer's pattern for the heels and toes and things like that, because I'll just do what I normally do, which is what is in the free patterns or any pattern by Kay Litton of the Crazy Sock Lady Designs. Anyway, I am so excited that I am tackling colorwork socks again, and I am really happy with how these are looking. And I couldn't help myself, and I just wanted to try the other colorwork pattern that she offered in the August bundle as well. This bag I sewed myself, by the way. And I cast on another pair of socks. These are being held in a bag that I was gifted in a swap several years ago. And I did a lot of modifications for these. So I wanted to try making some, I don't know what made me think of this, but I'm so happy that I've tried it. I wanted to make some socks. Well, maybe Summer Lee also mentioned this. I feel like she was the one that mentioned this, that I remember hearing this idea from her, if I remember right. Anyway, I wanted to try making some socks using fingering weight yarn held with lace weight mohair. And I have still quite a few single skeins of lace weight mohair in my stash. And so I wanted to try doing this Colorwork sock pattern using some of those up. So this design that she came up with was inspired by granny, like a granny square blanket, that type of design. Oh, I'm kind of tangled. Not really, but just kind of need to sort through my yarn here. Yeah, I am kind of tangled, but it's not that big of a deal. I'll get it in just a second. Okay. Okay. Here is my second pair of Colorwork socks, and these are making me so extremely happy. I think they're so great. I love them so much. I have tons of ends that I need to weave in later, so I'm just going to poke those inside so they're not an eyesore. They are so much fun. The feel of these on my feet is incredible. I love them so much. They're so soft and cozy. They're great. Okay, for these I had to make a lot of modifications because Summer's pattern doesn't call for you to hold mohair with fingering weight yarn. She just calls for fingering weight yarn. And I was kind of shooting in the dark because I've never done, you know, socks like this either. So I think that this kind of gives you, people a lot of times will say that fingering weight held with mohair will give you, a lace weight mohair will give you a DK weight gauge, but I think it would be more of a sport weight. So that's where I kind of went with it. And I tried 48 stitches for casting on using US 1.5, 2.5 millimeter needles. And that worked really well for me. So I did the cuff again for just that 1 inch, which was 10 rounds, I believe. And my original idea was that I was gonna hold a bare fingering weight yarn and then just switch the mohair when I was doing the color work. That was my original idea until I got to the point where I needed to start doing the color work, and I realized I can't just switch the mohair. I'm gonna have to, like, I mean, maybe you could, but that would be a real pain, I think, to try to hold the fingering weight and only pick up a different color of mohair. And I wasn't also sure if that would be a great contrast because you're still holding the bare yarn and that just the lace weight yarn was going to be changing color. And I thought maybe it wouldn't show the color work pattern very clearly if I was doing it that way. Anyway, so I was able to just go through my scraps of yarn and find fingering weight yarns that coordinated with the lace mohair scraps or single skeins that I had in my stash in order to do the colorwork section. Once I got to the colorwork section, I increased my stitches to 60 stitches, and I increased my needle size to US 4 3.5 millimeter needles, again going up an entire millimeter, 1 millimeter size from my original needles. And again, that has seemed to work out really well. They fit really well, and I'm super happy with how they look. There's not a ton of contrast between this lighter blue and the light gray rows, but it's okay. Also, in the original pattern, Summer's original design has you use a 7th color for like a half diamond before you go into the main color, and I just decided to use the main color for that last color work section, and then, you know, it just blended right into the main color. So that was a bit of a variation that I made as well. I did a total of 20 rounds after the color work. Again, I decreased back to my 48 stitches and went back to the US 1.5, 2.5 millimeter needles after I finished the color work. I did 20 rounds, and then I did a slip stitch heel flap again for these, and I again am at the same point as I am on my purple socks, where I have just finished the gusset decreases. So I, am holding yarn double here. So I have 4 skeins of yarn attached. So this, it's worth it to me to make the socks at the same time so that they're completely matching. Even though the way that I'm making these now, I really can't this isn't a very transportable project because I have 4 skeins that I need to manage. So it works better just for me to be sitting in one spot, and then I can kind of keep track of where my yarn's at so it doesn't get too tangled. The yarn that I'm using, I'm not going to go through all of the little bits that I used here, but for the cuff, I just used 2 bare yarns. They were just from my stash from when I dyed yarn again. So fingering weight and the lace mohair leftovers from my triangle garter wrap for the cuff. But anyway, for the main color, I am using Knit Picks Stroll Tweed again in the Marine Heather colorway. So that is being held along with Knit Picks Aloft in the Kanai colorway. So those held together is what is giving me this fabric. The Knit Picks Aloft, I didn't mention when I shared my garter, my triangle garter wrap, is 72% Super Kid mohair and 28% silk. And yeah, I'm just super, super happy with these. I think it's so exciting, and I'll most likely be making more socks using this yarn combination with fingering weight and the mohair held together, because they make super great warm cozy socks. So those are all of my works in progress that I have to share with you today. All of the ones that I've made significant progress on anyway. So the last thing I have to share with you is those boxes of yarn that I mentioned. So many of you said that you were really interested in seeing what was in these boxes. So I am happy to share them with you. Okay, the first box was sent to me by a viewer of this channel named Vicky. And there is so much gorgeous yarn in this box in front of me. It's a huge box. It's like 1.5 feet cubed. It's rather large. So here we go. The first sock set that we have here is by Buxom Knits. It is on the County Fair Holiday colorway. It is a family sock set, 4-ply, 75% superwash merino, 25% recycled nylon, and there's 100 gram for the main and then a 20 gram mini. So gorgeous. I need to clear a spot for me to unload this box. We have some yarn from Knit Circus. The first one here is on the trampoline base, which was 100% USA superwash merino, fingering weight, and it's in the Goo Lagoon semi-solid colorway. We also have one on the Spectacular base, which is 100% superwash merino as well. I wonder what the difference is. This one has less yardage. This one isn't specifically USA merino, and this one only has 400 yards for 100 grams, whereas this one had 440 yards. Anyway, this is the colorway, the Great Pumpkin Speckle. And another one from Knit Circus. Not sure what this is. It is on the Daring base, which is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, 100 grams for 250 yards, so it's DK weight. And it's on the Lemon Drop semi-solid colorway. And maybe this just goes over their different... Oh, this was an August subscription club, so it's a note about that. That is just going to be stuck in the label here. Okay, we have 3, I was so excited to see these, 3 Advent sock sets from a homespun house from last Christmas, from 2023. This one is, maybe I should have put these in order, but it doesn't really matter. This is the second Sunday of Advent in the Twinkling Lights colorway. And it's a 50 gram skein and a 20 gram skein. And they're both on 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. fingering weight. This is from the third Sunday of Advent in the Yuletide Carols colorway, same base. And this was the first Sunday of Advent, the most wonderful time, it's called. Those are so fun. Okay, we have one from Barnyard Knits. And this is on a sock fingering weight, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon in the Wine Cellar colorway. We have a skein from Ruby and Rose's yarn on the Plump Rose base, 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon in the Hidden House colorway. So many fun colors in that one. We have a set from Mandy's Makings. This is a set of 2 half skeins, so 50 grams each, both 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, Harvest Sky and Countryside Drive. Those are beautiful together. We have one from Biscotti Yarns on the Biz sock base, which is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon in the Gris colorway. Honey Girl Farms, Worker Bee DK, 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. The color is called Find the Hero in You. It is from a collection, a Harry Potter Yarn Club collection from 2021. We have some from A Chick That Knits. This is on the singles fingering base in the doeskin colorway, 100% superwash merino wool single ply. And another one on the same base in the Merlot colorway. That's gorgeous. 2 hanks of yarn from Chelsea Luxe hand dyed. And these are both on the Luxe DK base, which is 100% superwash merino, 225 yards per 100 grams in the Cranberry Cream Pie colorway. Have a little cake of yarn by Universal Yarn on the Bamboo Pop sock base, which is 100 grams, super fine, 492 yards. So it's a pretty fine sock yarn. It's 55% bamboo, 37% cotton, and 8% PBT. And the colorway is called Corals, I think. Very fun. We have one from Freckled Whimsy. Oh, so this is probably a self-striping yarn. And it's called I Pink, I Love You on the Serendipity 4-ply fingering base, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. That is so fun. Another sock set from Legacy Fiber Arts. These are so beautiful, these colors. It is on the Audrey, or maybe the colorway is called Audrey 2. And it's on the Steel Toes base, which is 4-ply fingering weight, 75-25 again. 100 gram skein and a 20 gram mini. Here's some yarn from Craft House Magic. I love watching Ellie's podcast. This is on the What's Up Ballads Sock Club from February of 2022. It's on a DK base, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. Oh, another self-striping, this time from Desert Vista Dye Works. This is on the Viso sock weight base, 75-25 again, in the colorway Zoas, Z-O-A-S. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Oh, some more pineapple yarn. I just love seeing pineapple yarn. Marina doesn't dye yarn anymore, and she used to have a YouTube channel that she would share the things that she was making, and she doesn't do that anymore either, and I miss her so much. Anyway, 2 skeins. Aren't they gorgeous? Her colors are always so amazing. Anyway, beautiful. This is on the Nani Twist base, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. Mermaid Lagoon is the colorway name. That is so gorgeous. And this one is from the Glow February 2022 Rosette colorway, same Lonnie sock base. Those are amazing. We have 2 cakes. Well, they were, you know, well, they're caked up of Knit Picks Stroll Tweed. So you've seen me use this on a few projects today. And this is in the Earl Grey Heather colorway. So again, this is 65% fine superwash merino wool, 25% nylon, 10% Donegal tweed. And they're already caked up. We have 2 skeins of Knit Picks Felici fingering weight yarn on this summer camp colorway, and this is 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon, and they don't make Knit Picks Felici anymore, so that's special to have. Have 1 little skein of Premier Fruits yarn. It is a 50-gram skein. I'm sorry, both of, well, the other 2 Knit Picks that I showed you, those are both 50 grams each. Anyway, this one is also 50 grams, 93% acrylic, 7% PBT, and you get 235 yards for the 50 grams. So it's a fingering weight, and the color is called Lime. And it stripes like that. We have a sock set from Lolo Did It. And this is the base is 85% extra fine superwash merino wool, 15% nylon, 100 grams fingering weight in the Professor Plum colorway. And it doesn't say, but I assume the mini is a 20 gram. This is from Sweet Georgia in the Tough Love sock base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and the color is called Orchid. Cozy Cauldron Fiber Company. That colorway is amazing. It's called Changing Leaves. Isn't that perfect for fall? So pretty. 75-25 base, fingering weight. We have 2 skeins of yarn from Simply Socks Yarn Company on the Splash Sock base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. This color is number 1311, and this color is 1313. Those are both really cool, and I'm sure they'll be self-striping. Maybe even self-patterning. Maybe get a bit of patterning with one of those, I'm not sure. Hand-dyed Happy Yarn Club. There's a very small label on here that I can't quite read. Happy something. I'm not sure. This is on the Happy Fingering base, which is 75-25 again, and it says HDH Yarn Club, May 2023. Miss Babs Yummy 2-ply fingering yarn, 100% superwash merino wool, 400 yards to 110 grams, and in the colorway Smoke. Leading Men Fiber Arts in the Spotlight colorway on the, the Spotlight base maybe. The colorway is called Yarn Hoarder, and it's fingering weight 100 grams, 400 yards, 80% superwash blue face Leicester, 20% nylon. There are so many colors in that. That's amazing. Incredible. Okay, we have a few different skeins or hanks of yarn from Purple Lamb hand-dyed artesian yarn. And this is on a fingering weight base, 80% superwash merino wool, 20% nylon. It says Adoration of the Shepherds by Champagne on Sock Perfection, December 2023 Club Colorway. That's amazing. We have another one from them, that same dyer. I thought there was more than this, but then maybe there's just two. Anyway, this is on the same base. This says Dynamism of the Human Body by Umberto Boccioni on Sock Perfection, October 23 Club Colorway. And that one comes with a 20-gram mini, it looks like. It's not marked, but I assume that's what it is. Those are beautiful for fall colors as well. There's another pineapple yarn in here. This is again on the Lonnie sock base. So 75-25 again. This is on the Glow. So she did a Glow Club for a while from February of 2021. Amazing. We have two hanks of yarn from Emma's Yarn. And this one is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 100 grams, 400 yards in the freshly cut colorway. And another one, same base, in the Bee Hoppy colorway. Kind of fun together. Another green one from the Sanguine Griffin. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. 70% superwash merino, 20% cashmere, 10% nylon. The colorway is called Buyer's Jewel Scarab. Is that fingering weight, did I say? Yeah, it looks like it would be. It's actually 4 ounces, 412 yards. So it's pretty thick or plump fingering weight, maybe bordering on sock or sport weight. I'm not 100% sure. Malabrigo hank of yarn on the Arroyo base, which is pure superwash merino wool, 335 yards to 100 grams. I'm not sure if that would be DK weight, maybe. It's in the Fresco y Seco colorway. And this hank is not marked. Vicki sent me a lot of yarn that does not have tags on it. So I'd like those of you that are participating in the Make 9 Mal, these prizes probably won't be gifted this year because I have a lot of other yarn that's been gifted to me that I need to gift to those of you that have been participating in the Make 9 Mal. But I just wonder if that is a problem for anybody. If you get yarn that doesn't have a tag on it, is that okay? Are you still happy to receive a prize that doesn't have a tag on it? Or would that bother you? I think some people would rather get yarn. I mean, I suppose everybody would rather get yarn that has a tag on it, but would you still be happy to receive yarn that doesn't have a tag, so you're not sure what weight it is, where it came from, if it has you know, nylon in it? Would it be good for socks or not? You know, it's kind of hard to decide what to make with yarn, especially if you don't know the content of the yarn or what weight it is. I mean, you can always do a gauge swatch, but knowing what the content of the yarn is a lot of times very helpful. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. If you think that would still be great to receive a skein like this that you don't really know what it is. I mean, just looking at it, I would assume it's a sock yarn. I can tell it's fingering weight probably. I would assume it's just a typical like 75-25. That's what it feels like to me, but I'm not sure. And there's a lot more yarn in here that also doesn't have a label in it. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. Okay, we have a mini skein set from Cloudborne Fibers, Merino Superwash Sock Twist mini set in the Blue Jay colorway, 80% superwash merino wool, 20% nylon fingering weight. All right, there's a lot of yarn that's already been caked up, so some of it's labeled, some of it is not. This one looks like it came caked up. This is from Wool Elf, and it is on the colorway is called Fresh, 100 grams, 400 meters or 437 yards, 80% super fine merino wool, 20% nylon. And I thought somewhere it said it was a, yeah, hand-dyed gradient yarn. So, I mean, you can clearly see that. Then we have some hedgehog fibers. This is 90% merino wool, 10% nylon, 100 grams in the Harvest colorway, fingering weight. There are 2 cakes of yarn from Sweet Georgia on the Tough Love sock again. We had another skein from on that same base earlier. This is in the Tea Party colorway, and again, I believe this was 80-20. Yep. We also have 2 cakes of yarn from Emma's Yarn again. And again, this is that same base as those green ones I just showed. These are 80-20 as well in the Heliotrope colorway. Very pretty. This one is from Yarn Loving Lady in the colorway Reading and Wine, superwash, well, 75-25 base again, fingering weight. Here is one from, again, Sweet Georgia. Again, the Tough Love sock base again, so 80-20 again, and this colorway is called River. This one is from Barocco Comfort sock, 50% super fine nylon, 50% super fine acrylic. In the color is just a number, which is 1818. Here's a pink one. It's a Classic Elite Yarns Yuri base, 75-25. Color number again, which is 5019. Look at that fun bright one. From Yarnable by Hypnotic Yarn. And this is on the plush sock fingering 85 superwash merino 15% nylon base in the beach ball colorway. It's a fun color, very pretty. Biscotti Yarns, again a Biz sock. We had one of these at the beginning of the box. 8515 base. And the colorway is called Smoothie. That's fun. This is from Purple Lamb again. Okay, so I was right. There were more of these Purple Lamb. This is on the 80/20 base fingering weight from May 2023 club colorway called Monet's White Water Lilies. So beautiful. You can see there's lots of really nice colors in there. These, I'm sure, are matching, but only one of them has a label in it, but they're matching. They're from Tina's Twisted Fibers, 75/25 base fingering weight in the Ocean Side colorway. That's fun. Oh, it's another pineapple yarn. On the Lonnie sock base again, 75/25 Glow May 2021 in Sweet Plumeria. So beautiful. I'm partial to pineapple yarn. Okay, I think all of these other cakes do not have labels. I want to just double check. So I have several cakes here. They don't have labels. So again, let me know what you think about what I should do with these. Should I give them as gifts? Or would those of you participating rather not receive yarn as a prize that doesn't have a label on it? I'm fine either way. Just let me know what your thoughts are on that. They're beautiful colors for sure. Most of them, I would guess, are fingering weight, but not sure if they would have nylon in them or not. This one's very silky feeling. My lap is not big enough for all of these. This looks like a single ply. One more. Okay, so those are all unmarked. I need to carefully stack them over here where they all fall down. Oops, one fell. They rolled under my chair. Okay, there's still more. I can't see the bottom yet. We still have 2 more boxes to go through. There's a total of 3 boxes total. This next cake is hard to read because the tag is covered up by these other stickers, but it says Notorious Tie-Dye Skinny And then I can read something says socks, skinny stripes on the actual label. Fingering weight, 80/20 base. Color is number 2490. Oh, there's two of them. They're both the same lot, it looks like. No, different lots. That's too bad. This is lot 9, this is lot 3. But they look pretty close. Okay, I have two of the same color, but one's caked up and one is still in the hank. And these are by Cascade Yarns, Sunseeker Multis. 47% cotton, 48% acrylic, 5% metallic yarn, 237 yards to 100 grams. Color number 127. This is yarn by Black Bunny Fibers. It says Bacchus. Yarn is called Mayflower. It is a DK weight, 100% superwash merino. The color is called Silver Dollar City. 200 grams, I think. So, of course, I think 100 grams each. 475 yards total, maybe. And these two colors. And I have another packet from them. This is the same base, and the color is called Stella. Very pretty. Oh, and another one. Same company. But this one is on, it says Pendle Bogan Cotton Gin Yarn. It's 48% acrylic, 52% cotton. Color is called Crystal Stare. And it looks like maybe it's in between a sport to DK weight. They've marked both sport and DK weight. There's 300 grams total. There's 3 hanks of yarn and a total of 451 yards. I can now see the bottom. We're nearing the end of this first box. Classic Elite Yarns in the Magnolia base, 70% merino, 30% silk. 2 cakes of these. The colorway is called Turquoise. We have 2 yarns from Yarn Bee Authentic Hand Dyed Luxe. No, this one is in the Luxe. Oh, this matches that one cake. Can I find that one cake? I'm sure there was a cake that matched this. Maybe that was the one that rolled under my chair. Oh, I really want to find that. It was the one that rolled under my chair. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that these match. Don't you think? I'm pretty sure. That's exciting. So this one's not labelless anymore. I'm pretty sure that it goes with this one. Anyway, these are 99% superwash merino wool, 1% metallic polyester fingering weight. And this colorway is called November Sky. I'll have to keep those together now. I can put those back in together, back in the box. This one is Authentic Hand Dyed Meteorite's Delight is the colorway. And this is the same base that I'm making that shawl out of. So 100% superwash merino wool, fingering weight. Let's see, we've got some Paton's skeins of yarn. This is Paton's Classic Wool Worsted, 100% pure new wool in the black colorway. It is worsted weight. Oh, I said that already. And another Paton's Lace Sequin. Oh, it actually has tiny little sequins in it. That's super cool. I wonder how that would be to knit with. It is called Pale Amethyst. And there's approximately 344 yards. It's sport weight. 70 grams for this. 68% acrylic, 14% polyester, 9% mohair, and 9% wool. There are 2 cakes of this Barocco Zen yarn, which is like a ribbon. It is 55% cotton, 95% nylon. Sorry, I think I said that right. 55% cotton, 45% nylon. The color is 8223. I wonder if these match. I don't think I've been checking that. These do match on their die lot. 2 cakes of yarn from Universal Yarn Bamboo Pop, 50% cotton, 50% bamboo. DK weight in the sand colorway. And these match their lot numbers. Three cakes of Lion Brand Kobu yarn, which I have worked with before in a different colorway. And I've made a summer top out of it. It's DK weight, 51% cotton, 49% rayon from bamboo in the taupe colorway. And lastly from this box is 3 skeins of yarn from Lion Brand Yarns Let's Get Cozy Lazy Days. Worsted weight, 100 grams each, 100% polyester in the Bluebell colorway. So that is it from Vicki. Thank you so much, Vicki. I truly appreciate your generosity. I mean, that was a lot, wasn't it? That was incredible. And we still have 2 more boxes to go through, so give me a minute while I repack and get to the next boxes. The last 2 boxes that I have to share with you are both from Ellen. If you've watched for a little while, Ellen sent me some more yarn. I think it maybe was the last shipment of yarn that I received prior to these. So she surprised me and sent me some more yarn. So that's what I have to share with you now. We have 1 huge cake of yarn from Blue Heron Yarns. It is on a soft twist cotton base. So I assume that's 100% cotton, but it doesn't say that on the tag here. It's in the plum colorway. 400 yards, it says. But I don't know how much it weighs either, but it's a big, big cake of yarn. Don't want the tags to get lost, but they're kind of hard to stick in these cakes sometimes. There. We have a little cake of yarn from, I don't know. I can't read that. What is that supposed to be? It says Terra on it, but I don't know what that brand is. Let's see if the tag tells me any more. It's 72% cotton, 28% nylon, 50-gram cake of yarn. I think it has 100 meters. I think the colorway is number 8. There's some information for you. Not sure about that one. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 skeins of yarn from Plymouth Encore Knitting Worsted weight, 75% acrylic, 25% wool in the color number 2084. kind of a grayish blue color. But there's a lot of them, enough for a sweater for sure. Okay, here is, I believe, I think it probably says Debbie Bliss underneath that label. Cash Merino DK, color number 18007. Yeah, it does say Debbie Bliss on this little tag here. 55% merino wool, 33% microfiber, 12% cashmere, 110 meters to 50 grams. Okay, there's some more kits. Last time Ellen sent me a package, she had a lot of these kits as well. And this is an Abraxini cowl by Asa Soderman. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I apologize. The yarn that's included with this kit is by Spun Right Round. Super pretty. And it is a sock weight 100% superwash merino, 2 skeins, 50 grams each. This one is called Gold Dust, and this one's called Charcoal. And then it comes with the pattern as well for this cowl, which I guess I can show you a picture of that. And we have a Dalian pattern, which looks like a pair of mitts. Oh, it has a hat as well as mitts. The yarn is Anzula Silken Merino Silk. It's a silk linen base. Maybe there's more on the label. 50% superwash merino wool, 50% tussa silk in the fur forest colorway. Maybe I'll try to take the yarn pink out of this bag so I can look at it more carefully. Yeah, Anzula silken base. Very pretty. And another one for the Pebble Beach cowl type thing. It looks like it comes both with a knitted and crocheted version. The yarn is by Loops Club. I think I'll take this one out of the package too. Oh, how cute. Those are fun. 4 little minis. They're super silky and shiny, beautiful. 100% Millbury silk. So that's why. They're from, so it looks like the dyer is Yarn Flower or sweaterkits.com. I'm not sure. I guess Sweater Kits is the yarn dyer. And there's a picture of the patterns. Very pretty yarn. Here's some Flax Roving by Skyloom Weavers. And another kit with some beads. This one's called Let It Bead. And the yarn is Freya Fine Hand Paints, refined 70% merino silk, 70% merino, 30% silk in the colorway Mist. That would be fun. Oh, is it? I don't know. It's a fingering weight. 75 grams, 330 yards. There is one little cake of some yarn that I'm going to have a hard time pronouncing probably. So it says Punto su Punto, Filati, Biberon, Merino Superfine, Pure New Wool, 1 ounce or 50 grams for 137 yards. Color 302. I have 3 cakes without a label, but I have some more yarn that looks similar. I'm sure these are matching as far as the yarn, but of course I don't know the colorway. So, how many of these do I have? Just the one? Okay, so I just have one of this, I think. This is a Rowan spray, 60% wool, 40% acrylic, 100 grams. I was looking for a color number or something, but I don't see anything. Unless I'm just overlooking it. Did I say the content of it even? Yeah. Wool and acrylic. Okay. So that's what I'm sure these are too. They look the same. And then I also have some more Rowan in these big cakes. There's 5 of these. They are Rowan Ribbon Twist, 100 grams, 70% wool, 25% acrylic, 5% polyamide. I'm not going to bother looking for a color because I don't think they are on here. They weren't on those other ones. There's 5 of those. It's almost losing its label, though. I don't want it to lose its label. Okay, and we have some more Rowan Ribbon Twist. There are 5 of these as well. 70% wool, 25% acrylic, 5% polyamide. Oh, that's what the other one was too. Ribbon Twist. Different color though. Should I try to look for a color? Oh, it says shade 125. Shade 115 for this one. All right, she sent a few. Here's a Malabrigo booklet. Yeah, it has some patterns in it, or maybe just one, I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like the pattern to make this shawl, which is beautiful. Maybe I'll open it up like this. There we go. And another shawl or cowl pattern by Veronica Parson, Wavy Waltz. Looks like it was a collaboration with Miss Babs yarn. This yarn is balled up. It is hand-dyed yarns by Prism. Euroflax Sport Weight Linen, 100% linen. Color Loops Corals. 100 grams, 270 yards. That's cool. Another pattern for a vest by More Than Knots, it looks like, is the designer's name, or handle, I should say, maybe. And then we have a hank of yarn by Dream in Color, Baby Lace Weight. Midnight Derby is the colorway. It is 100% superfine Australian merino wool. spun and hand dyed in the USA. It has 7 ounces and 700 yards. This is from You and Me, mother-daughter fiber artist. It says, colorway is dusk, fingering weight, superwash merino wool. And Fable Fibers, 150 grams for this skein, 80-10-10, so 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. The colorway is called Novel, if I didn't say that yet. So you get 600 yards to 150 grams. That's the end of the first box. On to the second box. We have a lot of cotton in this second box. I have several skeins of Bernat cotton tots, which is worsted weight, 100% cotton yarn. And this one is called Confetti. It looks almost pure white, but you probably won't be able to see it on the video, but it has some really light pastel specks throughout it, or yeah, color variation. Very, very light pastel color variation. We have one in Lemon Berry. Looks like maybe 1.5. Are those the same? Yeah, I think they're the same color. You can't tell. This one might be a little creamier than this one is. This is called Wonder White. This one looks like maybe a little more than half of a skein in Blue Berry. One in Wonder Dreams, and I actually have, I think, 3 more skeins of this exact same colorway in my stash that another viewer of my channel, of this channel, gifted to me. And so that's great. I can use this along with those to make some sort of a baby project. And 2 in the Cottage Colors. One in, well, that's funny, this one doesn't have a colorway name, but the other ones all did. How odd. Oh, there it is. Country Green. Earth Child. And the last, no, there's still more. This one is Sweet Cream. And 2 more in Dollhouse. Then we have a Peaches and Cream skein, 100% cotton, again, worsted weight. Colorway is called Mocha Swirls. This one is not labeled, but it also has pinks and browns, and you can tell it's 100% cotton worsted weight. Same with this one. I kind of recognize this as probably Peaches and Cream as well, but it doesn't have a label. And this one is Sugar and Cream. Maybe that one was Sugar and Cream. They're comparable. Of course, this is also worsted weight, 100% cotton in the Denim Blue colorway. And then we have one skein of I Love This Cotton print in the Spunky Print color. Again, worsted weight, 100% cotton. We have one partially used skein of yarn from Lion Brand Yarns Baby Soft Boucle. It's a bulky weight, and I think it's polyester from the feel of it. Colorway Cloud. Yep, 100% polyester. And another Peaches and Cream in the Camel color. And then the last two, I'm pretty sure they are matching as far as brand and base, but only one of them has a label. So this is Knitting Fever Painted Cotton, Pure Giza Cotton in the Castaway color. It's DK weight, 100% cotton, Castaway Bay it says. And yeah, there's no label on this one, but they look just the same. Very pretty. That's everything from Ellen. So thank you so much, Ellen, again. I was just surprised so much to see more yarn come my way from you. I'm blown away, of course, so much. It's so exciting to get all of this yarn and then be able to share it with you all and make different things that I can gift to other people. And it's really fun for me to be able to use this yarn in different ways. So I just truly, truly appreciate all of your generosity, those of you that have gifted to me in the past, and specifically to Vicki and Ellen today. Thank you so much, ladies, for your generosity. I can't tell you how grateful I am for you being willing to send this yarn my way. Thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed seeing all of those amazing, lovely yarn goodies, and I hope you all are doing really well. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.